We're going to talk today about rigging for grouper and snapper. You probably already know some of this you might not know, but I want to help you guys out and let you know how I rig things. Hi everybody, this is Captain KC from KC Sport Fishing in Mexico Beach, Florida. If you don't know much about me, I run a 40-foot Invincible for saltwater excursions based here in Mexico Beach, Florida. And I am also the owner of kcsportfishing.com. Feel free to go to our website and learn a little bit more about us and what we do. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all under KC Sport Fishing. That's the letter K, letter C, Sport Fishing. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different ways of rigging for snapper, grouper, and pretty much all bottom fish. And we're going to start out with the one I use the most and the one I find to be the most successful. I call this the 3-way swivel or dropper rig that we set up. And basically we start out with a 3-way swivel. You can do a fixed swivel or you can do one like we have that looks like 2 barrel swivels together. We tie a small loop out of monofilament line. Sometimes it's better to use a little lighter weight than normal because that way if the weight gets hooked up it will break off, and that way you save the rest of your gear. It's easy to change out weights on this. You can just push the loop back through and drop the weight right off and change it out. So that's a really good way to use this. One of the reasons I like this, being a charter boat guy, is this is the most direct link for the customers to the fish. This way you don't have to worry about feeling the bite. You'll feel it immediately when the fish picks it up, and that's a really great thing, especially for people who don't fish a lot. So keep that in mind on your boat. It's a real easy rig to set up. You can set it up really fast. I use between 80 and 100 pound Andy leader material. It's monofilament. I really like it. And the reason I go so heavy on it is you would be amazed at how many of these I have to retie because they've just torn up by the rocks. But the 80 to 100 pound leader gives you that extra margin of error. Hook size. I use a Owner 6/0 circle hook. The extra heavy or double X, however you want to call them. Don't use a light wire hook. You use a light wire hook, I've seen them break off or get bent and broken. So you want to make sure you use a heavy hook. Guys ask me all the time, well, what knot do you use? My recommendation to you is you use whatever knot you're most comfortable tying. If you want to learn a new one, there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to tie different knots. But I tie a real simple, improved clinch knot. I learned that as a young kid and I use it every day. So that's our first setup, and we'll talk about our second setup here. Our next setup we're going to show you is what I call a slider rig, or as many people affectionately refer to it as a Carolina rig. All you bass fishermen in the Southeast know exactly what I'm talking about. You have a sliding weight. I always put a bead down here to protect the knot. Trust me, that real cheap, inexpensive bead will save you a lot of heartache in the end, as this weight will beat against that knot and will eventually weaken it. I use a straight barrel swivel. I use at least 150 pound swivel. And then out here I use same thing, 80 to 100 pound test line to a 6/0 hook. Now the reason I use the 6/0 hook is it seems to match best with the bait we use. If we get into bigger bait, I'll jump up to an 8/0 hook, but my standard go-to every day is a 6/0 hook. Leader length. For snapper, I run a minimum of 4 feet out to 6 feet. My standard go-to every day is 55 inches, and I have a scientific reason for using 55 inches. That's how long it is from my fingertip to my fingertip when my arms are spread out. So as you can see, it's really science-based. But always remember that 80 to 100 pound leader. If we can look right here, that leader on this one right here is already frayed, and it's about time to change it out. So Carolina rig or slider rig. Weight-wise, I also, on both rigs, I use anywhere from 8 to 14, 16 ounces. On a charter boat, when you have multiple people fishing, you want that line straight up and down absolutely as much as possible. That way lines do not get tangled or get in the prop. Our last setup we're going to talk about is what we affectionately refer to as a chicken rig. No, you're not going to catch chickens with this, but we also call it a stacker rig or another dropper rig. It's a multi-hook rig, and as you can see, it has loop knots in it, and it has more than one hook here. This is my go-to vermilion or beeliner snapper rig. Guys over in Destin, everything call them Mingos. But this is what I go to, and it's a great rig for like kids or ladies who might not fish very often. And you put a little piece of squid on these things, they will not get dead. But how I do this is I tie a big loop in the top, and you can connect this to your swivel, or if you don't want to, you can tie directly to a swivel. I run 2 hooks. Each hook is on a loop. And a very important fact that I learned years ago is you want that hook pointed up, not down, because when that fish comes up and grabs, he's going to come down on it like this. So I put 2. If you want to go with more, you can go with more. And on the bottom of this is way too big of a weight for this one, but it's for demonstration. I do the same loop knot as I did earlier on the swivel, but this way, you've got a straight up and down rig, is set and ready to go. If you need to change the weight out, you can do it. It's just as simple as before. You slide the weight down over and you can change it out that quickly. So that's our basic chicken rig. And like I said, put a couple of these out no matter what's going on, because that way you can find out what's around. Mangroves will bite this, grunts will bite this. Pretty much any bottom fish, and I've actually caught a 12-pound snapper on one of these. Now that was a very interesting fight, but that's your typical chicken rig or multi-hook rig or another what I call a dropper rig as well. Okay, none of this would be possible without the rod and reel, or that's where we start from the beginning. I use on my charter boat rain shadow rods. I'm a member of Team Rain Shadow. I'm on the pro staff at Batson Enterprises, and they make the most wonderful rod components there is on the market. These rods were built for me by Michael down at Believers Custom Rods, but all the components, everything comes from Batson Enterprises. The reel seats, the handles, the butt, the guides, all of this is produced by Batson Enterprises. If they are not the largest rod component in the world, they are definitely the largest rod component company in the United States. Most every rod built in the United States has at least one Batson component on it. But this is the RCKJB 606 325 series. The 325 gives you an indication of its stiffness, and the 606 tells you that it's 6 foot 6 inches long. I've been with Batson for, gosh, now probably 12 years, and I have never had a rod fail on me. I highly recommend these, and we build these uniquely. These are built for us by, like I said, Michael down at Believers Custom Rods. This is a spiral wrap rod, and as you can see as we go down the rod, the guides wrap around. It starts this way, and the last 4 to 5 guides are actually underneath the rod. A lot of people ask me, why do you do this? Well, what we have found is this particular setup takes all the torque out of the rod and reel. So most of you guys been fishing all these years, have seen how many times that rod wants to roll in your hand. That takes the roll out of it. So these have to be custom made. You can't, well, you can find them on store shelves, but it's at a shop that actually builds their own rods. So, and on this we put an Abbott MXL 5.8. It is a single speed reel. I use single speeds because it's just so much easier for customers. I have on here Tight Lines braid. This is a 65-pound test. I'm a Georgia fan, so these are red, black, and all that good stuff. Go Dogs. So these are fantastic reels also. These are American made. They're made in California. Batson is an American company. So, you need to support these companies. They do a great job. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope this has been helpful. You can find out more information, like I said, again, on our website. It's kcsportfishing.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I've got some funny videos on YouTube, and I've got some videos that show you a few things about what we do. But anytime you get an opportunity, reach out. Give us suggestions for future videos. I did this one because a lot of guys asked me questions about rigging. And get an opportunity to get down here and come to Mexico Beach and go fishing. We've got the best snapper fishing in the state of Florida, and we hope you have a great day.